We are not. We're not live, but
we're live.
But we're recording. Jacob Bratz.
Justin Smith.
What's up, buddy?
Nothing, man. You know, just another day at the office. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about you? What's up with you, man?
Work.
How's work?
It's good. Very busy.
It's good.
A lot of stuff going on. Not too chaotic, but busy enough to keep you
busy.
Me on my feet.
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, same for me at work. It's kind of hectic, but we're managing.
Well, this is THP number 176. It's just the two of us this week. I feel like we haven't. It's been a minute since we've done one of these. The last one was kind of a train wreck because we weren't very prepared. I wasn't prepared.
Yeah, and then the camera kept messing up.
Yeah, we were having issues with.
It was
discombobulating
all of us.
Phil and I figured out that it was not actually our stuff per se that was the problem. It was actually, we think, StreamYard was what was struggling because Phil was having a similar issue. And he'd even checked his internet speed, and he's like, dude, there's nothing wrong with my internet. And so StreamYard just had a phase.
Well, that's no bueno.
Yeah. But this episode, as always, is brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com. Check them out. Place an order, use the discount code THN at checkout. You're going to get a little bit shaved off the top of your order.
Yes, 10%.
That's right.
You're good to go.
And it adds up.
Yeah, it does.
Like, discount's a discount.
Yeah.
It's very much worth checking out.
Best in the biz. Can't beat their equipment.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's comparable to really anybody.
No, there's
biased, not biased. I'm just saying their stuff is objectively very well built.
I'm just saying I bought it before we were sponsored by them, and I was in love with it. So my dream was to have BlackBox as a sponsor after I got their equipment.
Then dreams came true.
Just like that.
Yeah.
It's great. Real dream come true. We are very thankful for them and their sponsorship and their beautiful equipment. Get you awesome
most
cage.
Importantly, their friendship.
Oh yeah, most importantly. Get you an awesome cage, get you an awesome rack. You will not be disappointed with any product you get from them, whether it ships assembled or deassembled. You can put it together nice and easy. If Justin Smith here to my left can put them together, I know you can.
It's the damn truth.
Yep.
Your boy struggles. I'm a measure once, cut about 20 times kind of guy.
So. Yeah, I'm with you. Which is sad because both of our dads are very handy.
Smart.
Yeah. My dad literally built his house. So
look, we got matching hats.
Yeah, boy. I'm trying to wear this a little bit more often. At least when it's showtime.
I wear mine every day.
Yeah, you do. That's why the logo is like yellow now.
No, this one was done with gold thread. Cammy did the wrong color. And she's like, I did it the wrong color. I was like, I don't care.
Nah, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, you need a new one. The other one got gross.
Yeah, I still wear that one when I'm like mowing the lawn or something. If I'm going to be sweating, that's the sweat hat.
Gotta have a dirty hat. I need a new long leaf hat because mine is getting there.
Doesn't take long.
Nope. Especially when you sweat a lot and you work outside. So.
Yeah. But speaking of merchant things, if you catch the live stream of Snakes and Stogies, we are now like giving away a shirt each episode where we're sort of doing like, nice. So the week before last, I'm picking a number between like 1 and 100. And literally within like 2 seconds, someone guessed the exact number I had planned. Jeez. And then, so we were like, all right, that's not going to work anymore. It's too simple.
Too many people watch.
And then so last week or Monday, we did like Phil chose a species and he zoomed in on it and you had to like guess the species. And if no one could guess the species, if you got the genus, then you won. So But our buddy Dylan Shows won. Him and Keller.
Nice.
Keller was there. So that's kind of something we're doing now. Once a week.
I thought about trying to do something like that on here, and I more so thought of it. So I got the idea from a radio show that I've listened to. Thought about doing a like guess the genus type thing and have them verse you every week, and if they can beat you at guess the genus, like I'll list off a species and you have to say the genus, and whoever can do it and quicker, and if they can beat you, and they win something, because you're kind of the scientific name man. So Mr. Flashcards in school.
Don't hate.
No, I'm not. It's impressive. So thought about trying to do something like that.
It served me well in my adult life.
Yes, it has. It's done you very well, sir. But this episode was also brought to you by Steve Snaketuary and his Venom hot sauce. Go check him out. He's an awesome dude doing awesome things. Educational outreach, relocations, running a Snaketuary, taking in unwanted pets and things of the sort. He's an awesome guy doing awesome things, and you should get some of his very flavorful hot sauce. Justin and I have tried them all. It's very, very good. We are big fans of the Cottonmouth sauce. Highly recommend all of them. So, and it says something, because I'm not much of a hot sauce guy for the most part. Like occasionally I feel a little frisky. I want some hot sauce. That's Steve Snaketuary hot sauce. Even if you're not a hot sauce connoisseur per se, you will enjoy them. But even if you're a hot sauce connoisseur, you will also enjoy them.
SteveSnaketuary.com.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. So it's the two of us this week. Kind of a lot to cover, I guess, sort of. I asked some folks and did a thing on Instagram saying, what should we talk about? And got a handful of responses there.
I did not know this.
One that we will not be discussing is why Texas rat snakes are better than bears. So, nice try.
Why are eastern rat snakes better than all of them?
No, I'm not going there either.
Obsoleta or die.
Growing a collection, colubrid breeding timeline. Sir Painshab said brumation prep, non-corn snake pairings. And a big one that we got from our little friend group was avoiding burnout, which I know we've
hard one.
Talked about a good bit, but I guess it's worth sort of going into again a little bit.
Yeah, especially since we've both grown pretty substantially kind of recently, or at least I have in the last year and a half or so. I have put in a lot of work.
Why do you sound quiet?
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. I can't tell.
I can't
thought
tell.
It was just my headphones.
I don't know what it is.
Check.
What about now?
Still sounds about the same to me. So.
Well,
I don't know. We can rock with it. I'll be all right.
I haven't changed anything, so who knows?
As long as it comes out okay on the recording.
We have no way of knowing that.
Yeah, I know. Recorded. Yeah, that's
focus.
The problem.
Focus. There we go. Yeah, so one of the things that I had kind of wanted to talk about, because it was something I was thinking of when I was either going to work or from work sometime in the last couple of days, was like, how do you know when you're kind of over keeping a species?
When you don't make any reels about them. I'm just kidding.
I think, well, I mean, this is sort of a good sort of starting point, I think, for the burnout thing.
Yeah.
A little bit.
For sure.
I know lately, within the last couple weeks, like I've kind of given thorn scrubs a really hard time. And those are a good example. Not necessarily of burnout, but just like sort of trying out a species and getting out of a species and realizing that it's just kind of not your thing. It's not maybe what you thought it would be. Yeah. Because I know you have a few things that you've kind of gotten into and then sort of realized you weren't into.
Oh yeah, that's happened with.
And I've done it. Yeah. So, where's your, what was sort of the first one that you kind of realized?
The very first one that I realized that was a mistake, blood pythons. But that was many moons ago. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just kind of, it's hard to say exactly how because like for me it's always just been like I know I'm not into this. You either dread cleaning them, you just don't have the desire to take them out, you don't want to take a bunch of pictures of them, you kind of know when you're not burnt out with something, or like when you're just kind of like, yeah, this isn't for me. And I think everybody has done that. Even Pain Shop was talking about it in a group the other day. Somebody asked him, I don't remember exactly what it was, but somebody asked him if he ever kept these things, and he's like, yeah, I used to keep them a little bit, but quickly turned out they just weren't for me. And that's,
point your mic down some.
Point my mic down some.
It's pointing sort of. Don't, did you do it too tight?
Like that?
Yeah.
More better?
A little bit.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just kind of happens. It happens to everybody. For when I was first getting into snakes, I was really into like old world rat snakes. Never really got into them, but just upon research and stuff, sometimes you don't even have to keep something to know it ends up not going to end up being for you. So I don't know, man. You just kind of you lose the lust.
I think that's a pretty good hallmark, or sort of early indicator. Maybe not early, but just a general indicator is if you're not sort of excited about opening the tub, seeing the species.
If you're not excited to see a shed skin in that snake's tub,
that's
then,
pretty,
because like my rat snakes, boy, I can't wait for all of them to shed every time. I'm so excited for them to shed. And I love taking them out, looking at them, and just like seeing the changes, every time they give me shed skin, and it's, I don't know, just
it's also not as cut and dry, I guess, because thorn scrubs being sort of the main example I'll sort of be talking about is like thorn stubs are pretty snakes.
Yeah, they're cool.
There's like they are I do like them because it's a Texas Pituophis, or not Pituophis, Pantherophis.
Yeah.
They're cool. They're neat. I got them. I had them.
Bred them.
I bred them. Still have some babies. If you want some, hit me up. Please. I think I only have 2 left.
Oh, nice.
Bill bought a pair, and then Nate at Croccast bought one.
Nice.
So those just, I don't know. Like at first I was like, yeah, these are cool. Trying them out. Never kept them. Chris was always talking them up. So I was like, all right, I'll give them a shot. Had them. Bred them. Wasn't necessarily on purpose. I was trying, but what we've talked about in previous episodes is they went way later than everything else.
Yeah.
So I did end up with a clutch. I did breed them. And I don't know. I periodically get to this place where I sort of look around at my room, and it's like the proverbial spring cleaning of sorts.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, I somehow ended up with 1 or 3 of these. Don't really know that I want to really pursue them or have any plans long term with them. So it's kind of like, I guess it's time to move them. If it's one of those things where it's like, would I rather devote the space to these or devote the space to something else that I'm very much focused on?
Right.
And sometimes it can be a very hard decision, but for the most part, I'm usually like, yeah, I guess if I'm needing space for corns that are growing up, and I'd rather have corns, or I have more of a focus on corns or bairds or chondros, and I have some snakes that are taking up some space and it's more mouths to feed, then it's kind of like, all right, then I guess it's time to move them on.
Yeah, like I said, if they don't excite you anymore, I think for you, a lot of the draw was, with them is like, you like Texas. you like Texas stuff. You always say that's one of your, you went and herp there. It's one of your favorite places to, try and herp and all that, and so I think that was the initial draw for you. But upon keeping them, it's like, yeah, these are cool, but it doesn't rustle my jimmies like I would like it to, like the Bairds do, that's, and I think that's also why, because Bairds are a Texas species and you love Bairds. So, I mean, thorn scrubs were kind of the natural follow through. But
see, here's what's interesting with those though, is care wise, there was nothing different about them from the corns or the Bairds.
No, they're very easy.
So I think what it came down to for me mostly was just their personality.
I was gonna say you don't like bitey snakes for the most part.
It depends on the snake. If
they were like kind of
Amazons or chondros, it's one thing. Thorn scrubs, those were just, I mean, they were wild caught, so it's to be expected that they're gonna probably always be at least a little spazzy.
Right.
And I was okay with that.
They were crazy though.
Then the babies hatched. The babies just inherited that. And it was like, man, these are just, I don't know. I think it was the attitude was, the overall temperament was kind of the one thing that sort of turned them off for me.
Drove it home.
Will I never keep them again? I don't know. Who knows? I'm not going to say I won't. There's been plenty of things that, when I was at one point very much into and liked, and then sort of fell out of love with, and then came back a couple years later and was like, wait, these are actually awesome.
I wasn't finished.
Like your first experience just wasn't a good first run sort of with something.
That's how I went to Amazons.
There's some albums, like music albums that, 6 years ago I listened to. I'm like, I really don't like that. But now for some reason, if I listen to it, I'm like, oh my God.
Banging.
Like, why did I not pay attention to this more
when
it, released? And it's kind of similar to that, I think. But I do think with social media and things, for some people, there might be this subconscious feeling like they can't jump off a certain train, like the train can't stop at any point in time for them to hop off with a certain species. And so some people may keep things that they don't necessarily enjoy because they feel like if they leave from one species and go to something else, and then maybe that isn't something that worked out for them, and they go to something else, like people are gonna sort of be like, they don't know what they're doing, they can't make a decision, they can't stick with the species. Almost like musicians changing genres,
right?
Like when someone goes, I'm not going to say MGK, but
yeah, you were thinking it.
He's a good example.
Everyone who was thinking it. But yeah, no, and I mean, dude, I've kept more different species and just about anybody. I've kept just as much as other people have. As far as variety goes. There's a period I had had a water python, a Chinese king rat snake. I had a lone blood python. I had a random Nicaraguan boa constrictor. That you also had for a while. And it was just, you try stuff that piques your interest, and I think it's kind of annoying when people mess with other people about that, because you have to keep this stuff to try and find your niche.
Exactly. And like that's the way no one, 99% of people, that's a very generous number, didn't come into the hobby on one species and stay there.
Yeah, like, yep, that's leave. It. This is it. Like my first snake was a freaking ball python.
So I think that's where you're going to see it the most, is the ball python crowd. And I think boas are a big one too. Like people came in, they started keeping boas, and they're like, they just like boas. That's all they keep.
Yeah.
They don't really care about anything else. And that's fine. Like that's whatever. Yeah. That's good. But for some reason, maybe there's this subconscious feeling of like, once you pick a seat, you can't leave it. Like you got to stay there.
Yeah. But at the same time though, if you really do not develop that, or if you lose that fire that you had for something, I mean, you almost kind of have to let it go because then your animal's going to suffer because of it.
Yep.
You know, I'm not saying you're going to let it die, but it's obvious that you take the things you like the most, you take a lot more specific care of. Like, let's be honest, you know, and at some point in time, you know, the care for them is going to suffer if you don't still have that fire for them, you know, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we used to have like local people that would bounce from one species to another, like moving, almost like reselling their entire collection to restock it with other stuff.
Yeah,
and like,
there is a line with it, you know,
yeah.
like there is with anything, you know. It's I'm not one to say, you know, go if you all of a sudden decide you like boas, don't sell every snake you have and buy 100 boas and then be like, this is what I'm gonna do, and then 6 months later you said, boas really aren't my thing, you know. Dip your toe in a little bit, give a little taste of the glory.
Same
you know what I mean?
Same with breeding.
Yeah.
Make sure you really like it before you make more of it.
Yeah, that too, you know, because then you're gonna be stuck with a lot of
thorn scrub babies.
Yeah, you know, it's and like I said, it's fine lines. You just gotta try it with a couple animals, you know, sell off a few things to fund a new project, see if you like it, and if you don't, you don't, you know, move the project. It's not that difficult, you know, and
yeah, and that's the other side of that Joe Rosa mentioned, because he brought up, you know, part of this question, you know, how do you decide when to move an animal / project on, and what the hell do you do with the animals when you've made that decision? And that is tough. I went through that with cresteds.
Yeah, I remember that phase.
I fortunately found someone that bought just about all of them. But that is sort of the kicker of getting out of a project when you're just not into it anymore. My example was, you know, I had like 60 to 80 something cresteds I was having to take care of, and still having to buy Pangea, and it was just, I got burnout on them. I got overloaded. I had too much going on, and it was just one of those things where I'm like, I just want to go back to snakes.
Then you met me, and I was like, dude, get rid of these cresteds. What are you doing?
I said, okay. But that was probably the part that sucked the most, is like, it's not that I didn't care about the animals. It's not that I didn't enjoy them, but it was like, I really, really, really don't want to have to buy more Pangea and spend half my Sunday, if not more, disinfecting and cleaning tubs every week.
Yeah.
And but the hard part is like, if you still have everything and you're trying to sell it, you can only move as quick as people are willing to buy them.
Yeah.
And if you've got stuff that isn't sort of higher end, the kind of stuff that breeders and people that are looking to expand upon with certain projects, then it makes it even harder.
Yeah.
Like I said, I kind of got lucky because I had someone in the Charleston area that ended up buying almost everything. And of course I made her pretty good deals on all of it. It was just one of those things where it's like, at this point, I just kind of need them gone.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is that I was going to bring up is sometimes, you know, depending on, you know, what you have invested and how badly you want them out, sometimes you got to be willing to take a loss, you know, like that's part of it, you know, like prime example for me recently was the cave geckos. You know, I freaking loved those things. I absolutely loved those cave geckos, but I quickly found out lizards just aren't for me still. You know, I'm just not into it, you know. And it's like I paid for the geckos for sure, but I gave them to you because I just wanted them out. I knew you could take them. You already are breeding a bunch of bugs. They were good. They're super easy, but I had to deal with bugs just for them. You already have bugs for your Ackies and you love them, and the geckos are so easy. You know, it was a no-brainer. You know, so I just moved them on you because I wanted them out of my hair. You know, they kind of started to defeat me a little bit, and you know, it was just one of those things. So it's sometimes you got to be willing to take a loss and just move on.
That is the value of having friends in the hobby, though, that are into other things. Like, I know if I have these 2 thorn scrubs left and Skylar or someone else or Brendan messages me and is like, hey man, I'm kind of interested in the thorn scrubs, and message you talk about how much they suck. Let me you know, can I try some out? And I'd be like, yeah,
take it.
Yeah.
That's
like, we've had plenty of people do that too for us.
Oh yeah,
you know, I've talked about sort of paying it forward and how I've had so many people, especially Doc Loafman, set me up with stuff that I never thought that I'd actually have, at least in multiple numbers.
Yeah.
And so I feel an obligation to sort of pass that along too. And so, like, with the Barons, you know, it was like I checked with Keller and he was cool with it. And I was like, okay, it's going to go to Skylar because I know Skylar's interested in them. Skylar's a nice guy. Skylar's been a supporter. He's a good friend. Like, so yeah, it's gonna, like, I'm gonna give it to Skylar. It's gonna be one of those things where it's like, help someone else make their dreams come true.
But it's also them kind of helping you at the same time, though. It's like, yes, you're doing them a solid by giving them a snake, but at the same time, you no longer want it in your collection, so it also kind of helps you to get it out and go. You know what I mean? Like, it's a win-win.
And that's a good example of the, you know, deciding if you're into something or not. You know, I had that Barons since the beginning of the year. I had the Rhinos first, and it was in a Bio-G, and I needed that Bio-G for one of the Rhinos, and it came down to that decision of, like, it's one more mount to feed. Realistically, am I gonna pursue these over, you know, is having them sort of on the roster worth the upkeep and the food in comparison to, I have a Rhino that could really use that cage, and I know will take full use of it, which the Barons would too. I didn't see the Barons as much. But it was one of those things where it's like, am I really going to hunt down a female? Am I really going to breed these down the road?
Right.
And it was like, over Rhinos, no.
Let's face it.
I'm not.
Let's face it. You were a little scared of the Barons, weren't you?
No. No, it's a cool snake. And honestly, if
can't handle the heat,
if space weren't an issue, it would have stayed, and I probably would have gotten a female for it, and I would have, you know, pursued him. How long that would have lasted, who knows? But it's just one of those things where it's like, do I want this, or do I really want to have more of a focus on something I know I really, really like?
And then especially when you have somebody that is truly focused on it, you know, and it's a remarkable animal, so it's like you can keep it in the family, you know, while also giving it to somebody who it's gonna go to actual real use with, you know, like, you know, like I said, it's a win all around, you know, like the corns I just gave you, you know, like you
did just give me corns like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, like it's just, you know, I love those things to death, and I would never have sold them. I didn't want to see them go, but you have a ton of morph stuff. They're gonna add options for you.
Even though half my breeding stock comes from like the same clutch of stuff from Chris, it's all related.
That's all right. But you know, it's just like, it's one of those things. It was a no-brainer, and if you ever decided you didn't want them, I would gladly take them right back.
Like, you know, if I end up breeding them, and you're like, "Hey man, I kind of miss having corns," I'd be like, "Sweet,
okay,
come
take
pick a pair
some."
out.
You know, like
yeah.
And you've done the same thing for me with the Ladies Island stuff. You know, like you gave me, I have 2 pairs now, both from you. You know, and it's like, I love my locality rats, and so having something homegrown and it's just freaking awesome to me. And you said, come pick out a pair. I was like, well, what do I owe you? You said, no, just come take some.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, cool. You know, and I don't know, man. It's fun. It makes me feel good just being like, hey, do you want this? And if they're like, yeah, I'd be like, okay, it's yours. Bada bing, bada boom.
I'm a people pleaser too. I like hooking people up, and
I like putting smiles on people's
faces. That's right. Skylar's like, man, what do I owe you? I'm like, you don't owe me nothing. You pay me in smiles, buddy.
Yeah.
You pay me in butterflies.
And he is a smiley guy, so it's even better. Dude's all smiles. It's great.
It's all very much like relationships. It's like just because you start dating someone doesn't necessarily mean it's got to be a forever thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a trial and error, and that's the natural progression for everyone in the hobby, or at least a very, very, very large majority of it is, the stuff I'm keeping now isn't the same stuff I was keeping 12 years ago.
No, it is not.
And it's, to me, that's kind of the fun part of herpetoculture and sort of the journey of getting into it and evolving and finding what you like and sticking with it and deciding what to pursue, and then making the hard decision of pivoting or changing gears, or and it is tough. Sometimes it's a very hard decision, sometimes a very easy decision, but I think if there's anybody that wants to do that but is sort of scared of judgment on the internet, which you're going to get judged no matter what. So
yeah,
who cares?
You're going to get judged for keeping them, like it doesn't matter.
Shift them gears.
Like, and there's also the point of like, you can like something without having a million of them. If you like something, but it's not like high on the radar, just keep it there. If you think you have too many of one thing, move some of them. Keep a couple. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to have, every color phase and locality and whatever, and it's you can keep numbers small. You can have to breed, you can keep one. You don't have to breed everything either. If something you have too many of something that's taking up space, but you still love the species, keep one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it as a pet. It's easy.
Like Spurge.
We're not talking about that. Little fucker.
Yeah. I think on a subconscious level, social media plays a very big part in things. And honestly, the last week or so, I deleted Facebook off my phone. I periodically sort of just take breaks because I will find myself just scrolling. And what's even more sort of disturbing is when I take it off my phone, I'll take my phone out of my pocket and start looking for the app. And then I'm like, wait a second, I took it off. And after you realize doing that several times a day, not even thinking about it,
this is a problem.
Like, this is, like not necessarily a problem, but it's kind of creepy. Like, it's kind of like, I've become so focused or not focused, but sort of trained.
Yeah.
It's very,
dude, for me, social media has almost become like an anxiety thing. Like, I don't.
You've definitely taken a pretty serious step back from it, though.
I don't like, and that's literally because it gives me anxiety. Like, I look at my Facebook I don't get on it, but I see the app and I have like 98 notifications, and I'm like, nah, like I don't want to scroll through that. It's kind of the avoidance. Like I try to get on. I'm bad about Instagram because like I actually talk to people on there, and
I don't even find myself scrolling Instagram as much as I used to. Like it's mostly just in the group chat talking. Like,
and see, I can't keep up with the group chat, man. Like I have too much crap going on every day at work, and I'm just like, like I said, it's just like it gives me anxiety trying to like go through and read everything, and I try to pop in when I can, read the cliff notes from, my home screen on my phone, but I'll leave Skylar, unread for 2 days, and I'm like, hey man, sorry, like, but then I feel like a dickhead, and but it's just what it is though, and it's like there's some days where I work for from 6:30 to 3, and then as soon as I come home, I'm doing snakes from 3:30 to 8 o'clock at night when my girlfriend gets home. And when she gets home, I don't want to be scrolling on my phone. I want to hang out with her and have my time with her. So the only time I really get to scroll is if I don't have snakes to do, and I'm home by myself, which I'm home by myself several hours pretty much every day, but a lot of those days are taken up doing snakes, so, and when you have a lot of snakes, it takes up a lot of time. So
I'm definitely not on it as much as I was like with work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, your like work
much
definitely
busier at work now. I'm not on it as much as I was at the cigar shop. And I mean, sometimes even, text messages, I get texts from people, Katie even, and it'll be like an hour plus before I even respond or check my phone. And it's just like, or I'll check it and I'll see that I have stuff, but because I'm doing something, I'll just put it back in my pocket and be like, I'll handle that later. So having the sort of the forced distraction of work has been nice. And it is one of those things where it does kind of just get exhausting, and it's, you know, it's just, it is like an anxiety sort of driver.
Yeah.
In a weird way. Like there doesn't even necessarily have to be anything newsworthy happening or serious happening, but sort of how KJ explained it in the group chat earlier was like there's this subconscious like keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing where you see people with success with these species you've always wanted, but you'll probably never have because you can't afford them. And like, I kind of get that. Like, even if you don't feel it, you know, it's not tangibly there happening in your brain. I think it is happening sort of in the back,
right?
Where there is like this constant sort of comparison that you do. And I also, I've come to realize that, you know, as I get older, that social media and the internet is
it's toxic.
95% bullshit.
Yeah, it's very toxic. You know, I try to only really use it for good. You know, like I try to, you know, stay in touch with the homies, because like, let's face it, that's something that we have that, like, you know, 30 years ago, people were not as lucky to have. You know, we can talk to our friends all over the world instantaneously, you know, and, you know, before social media, you had to write letters, you know, and that was hard, you know, like, you know, if your best friend,
with the Pilgrims,
if your best friend moves to Florida or Tennessee or something, you know, you can just pop on your phone and message them or FaceTime and all that crap, you know, and it's right at your fingertips, you know. But there's also a lot of bullshit out there. So it's a fine line, you know. I try to use it to stay connected and show off my beautiful animals. But even then, you know, I'm putting way more focus on what I do versus what everybody else sees, you know. Like, I am so freaking busy from day to day stuff.
It's kind of like, don't talk about it. Do it.
You know, exactly.
Don't talk about how you're going to do it. Show them how you're going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Show them how you did it.
Yeah, and it's like, even that though, it's like I have this I guess this settled feeling of like, I don't have to show anybody anything, you know, because I do it. You know, I do it on my own time. I do it at my house. I don't have to post about it every day, you know. Like, as soon as, like, if a snake sheds, looks freaking awesome, I'm like, okay, let me take a few minutes, take a reel, show off this beautiful animal, you know. But like, that's it, you know. I just do my thing and get in, get out, you know. And I don't know, it's been working for me, you know. It's been fun. I enjoy it, you know. I'm not glued to my phone all the time, and like I said, I usually don't even have time to do it, so it works out.
It's one of those, it's a tool, and it can either do great things for you and you can create things out of nothing, i.e. the network and sort of what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Or it can really be a burden.
They can take over your life, man. Like, some people let social media run their freaking lives, and it's, I don't know. It's sad.
I think we're going through sort of a shift, though. I think with Facebook stock dropping like it has, I think people are kind of starting to get burnt on it, and just the overall thing of like being inundated with that much information constantly. I think people are kind of getting to the point where they're just over it.
Yeah, because it's a lot of, like you said, it's a lot of just lies and bullshit, and
a lot of it's just a facade. Like relevant. What you see,
exactly.
Like, you see someone that has, you know, 3 Boelens, or, you know, just ridiculously nice enclosures and snakes and things like that. And, you know, it might look pristine and perfect from the outside looking in, but what you don't see, sort of the iceberg, is, you know, mountains of debt. You know, the person that has all this stuff is also $300,000 in the hole, and they got, you know, Discover, MasterCard knocking on their door saying, "Where's our money?"
Right.
You know, so I'm not talking about anyone in particular, just so everyone knows. I'm just saying that as an example. Like, Same thing with people that, they're posted videos of them in like mansions and with the Ferrari. And it's like, come to find out, they don't own any of that. They just pay someone to sit on their car for an hour or walk around their house. It's just, I look at a lot of it now and I'm like, yeah, okay, I highly doubt that's exactly what we're seeing.
And at the same time, though, when it comes to that, for me, if I see stuff like that, I'm just kind of like, good for you. Yeah, good job.
Yeah,
congrats.
Just as easily,
like
you got the Wellens Pythons, cool.
Keep moving, nice. Keep scrolling, whatever, and I just be content with what you have, And then there's also like looking at social media, scrolling and seeing those big cages, whatever. It can also give you visions, it can give you a goal, like okay, that's motivation. Inspiration, like that's what I want to do. I want to do something like that. Don't let it get you down and say, oh, I'll never do that. I'll never have this, blah, like, no, like, if that's something you really want.
BlackBox cage looks good.
Let me snag one.
I need to get me one of those. Yeah. And I need you to use that code THN at checkout.
Yes, sir. There's good and bad, and it's all in, a lot of it is perspective, and my perspective on, my entire life has changed severely, about, a solid year and a half ago, like a lot of life-changing crap I went through in the last, so long. And it's just, I don't know, I've come out the other side better, and I like where I'm at. I like where I'm going, and I'm happy, like I like what I do. I like how I do things. No, I don't have 10,000 followers on Instagram, but I have some of the bestest friends in the freaking world, of the coolest people in the freaking hobby, and I have some amazing snakes that I am absolutely in love with. And, yeah, they're eating me out of house and home, but that's beside the point.
Another
but
issue in itself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just do you and be happy. If you're not happy with what you're doing, then change something, whether it be downsizing a little bit, getting into a new species, getting out of a species, getting off social media so much, whatever. If you're not happy, then make a change.
Yeah. Or, like I said, what I do periodically, just take a break.
Yeah.
If it starts to feel like it's just getting to be too much, then I'm just like, okay, it's time to take a break. Yeah. And I come to find that even after a day or two, really, I kind of forget that I even deleted it, like Facebook in particular.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't miss it. Like, there's something nice about not being able to be contacted.
Yeah.
Right away. Yep. Like, I hate to say off the grid, because you're really not.
Yeah. It's sad when we consider like, that off the grid is
messaging and like people knowing what you're doing at all times and where you are. And it's, like when I went out to Hunting Island over the weekend to look for diamondbacks, I was like, just went out by myself in the woods. Phone was on silent in my pocket.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? It's time to just get in
time to
do something a little different.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very routine person,
Yeah, and like
especially when you have a family and stuff, things get very, very repetitive in terms of your day to day.
And you kind of have to an extent, when you have as many snakes as you do, and you have a whole family and a full-time job, like you have to have some type of routine, some type of schedule, because if you don't, you're gonna get messed up.
Yeah, but like, at the same time, like I
you
said,
have to break it.
I was telling
drive you nuts.
I was telling Phil on Snakes and Stogies, I was like, I was just in Walmart getting some pillowcases to ship the Cyanea, and I was like, you know what, the weather's really nice. I'll bet you if I went out to Hunting Island and walked some of the trails, I'd see a diamondback. And then I kind of went back and forth on it for like 45 minutes before I actually sort of did it. Like, that was the weird thing, is sort of my anxiety was like almost trying to talk me out of it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you have too much to do today.
No, it's a waste
too
of
much
time.
Going on.
It's a waste of time.
Don't why bother using the gas? Why, and finally I was just like, you know what, whatever. I'm just gonna do it. And I'm glad I did. I want to go do it again. It was, I texted Katie and said, I'm gonna go walk some of the trails. And for 2 hours, that's what I did. Just all by my lonesome out there in the The maritime forest.
I can't tell you how many times I've done that, man. Like, especially when I was, fresh out of some bullshit and living with my parents, I can't tell you how many times I was sitting there and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go walk around my WMA and just go by myself in the middle of the freaking woods. I got caught in the middle of a storm out there walking across that same cross dike, dude. I was walking, I was like, ooh, there might be some weather coming in. All of a sudden, 5 minutes later, it was pouring rain. I'm still in my work uniform, I'm getting pelted by sideways rain and wind and trying to dodge cottonmouths on my way out. And, it's just, you gotta get out, man. Get some you time. I'm a full advocate of taking care of you. You are number one. You are number one. You have to take care of number one. Period. If you don't, you're gonna
can't help anyone else if you're not helping yourself.
Exactly. And that is so very true. You will do nothing but harm to yourself and everybody around you if you are not taking care of your own mental health and your own. Not taking care of you. Not taking care of number one, man. Got to.
So. Yeah, I've come to find too, just within the last year or two, that I do require a certain amount of time just by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky that I have a wife that sort of recognizes that and makes an effort to
let you be by yourself.
Yeah, for a while. I think she can tell when I'm kind of getting to that point where I'm just frustrated and I need decomp time. And it's not a daily thing or anything like that, but a Saturday, she'll take our daughter, they'll go to Target or something. And so I'll have a half a day just to myself, which is really nice. And that's something that just helps a lot. And it's, she works from home, so she's here a lot, and she's not really around many people most days. And so, when I get home, she's she wants to go do stuff. She wants to do things. And I'm the opposite, where I'm around people pretty much all day, every day.
Yeah.
And I don't get a whole lot of time by myself. And so it's tough, because I'll come home and I'll be like, I literally just want to go in the snake room and just clean water bowls.
Yeah. Don't talk to me.
Lock the door and just hang out in there. It's it's decomp. It's decompression. That's for me. I even after work, even if it's just going to the cigar shop and sitting and smoking a cigar for an hour and talking to whoever's working, I just need something to kind of
decompress.
Pressure valve.
That's it. And I'm pretty lucky with my situation right now. There's literally 5-6 days a week I get a period of several hours just by myself. I can either do snake, but during that, it's mostly snakes, but I always try to take a day to literally do nothing. Sit on my ass, watch some TV, have a drink.
See, I can't do that.
I'm lazy. I am. I definitely have some lazy bones in my body, so I definitely take my me time, just kind of do nothing.
I just get stir crazy.
I don't.
I gotta, days off, weekends, I don't want to sleep in. I don't want to sit around the house all day. I want to do something, whether it's running to the store and getting paper towels or whatever I need for the room, or just going down to the shop and hanging out for a bit. I just got to go do something. To me, I turn into a zombie if it's a Saturday and I ain't left the house. I get weird, man. I just, I don't know what it is. I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Yeah. Saturday for me, it really depends on the work week and the day. If I've just had a long freaking week and I did deep cleans on the snakes, and if I'm just really worn out, Saturdays, I don't do that. I try to sleep in on Saturdays because it's the one day a week I can sleep in. But Saturdays, girlfriend goes to work at 11:30. My roommate / best friend goes to work at 2. So I take that time to hang out with them, do whatever. Then as soon as they leave, it's snakes until my girlfriend gets home. So it's, Saturdays really aren't like that for me. So it's normally after work on some days, it's right after I feed snakes, because I always give the snakes a couple of days to digest and before I go back in there. So it's, So that's my routine. I've enjoyed it. Still busy, but I just picked up a second job. So my free time is about to be cut down severely. So, but it be what it be.
Mm-hmm.
Got debt. Got
paid
paid off.
ass.
Yeah, it is. But
something I will now live by is credit cards are the devil. I wholeheartedly wish I had never gotten one, because it's been like a freaking cancer that has refused to leave for the last decade.
What is this turned into Snakes and Fridays?
Mm-hmm.
No.
We're getting deep.
She's a nerd. She got one of those calculator watches.
Calculator watches.
I'm gonna get you one. Christmas stocking stuffer time. You do have a planner.
I got spreadsheets.
She got spreadsheets.
You're probably a whiz at Excel, aren't you? You're probably a whiz at Excel, aren't
Google
you?
Sheets.
What's that? Still learning Excel. Nice. There you go. Yeah, no, I've had to get pretty good at planning with work and stuff, because I manage over 300 construction sites right now, and I have 1.5 million contractors calling me and texting me for different crap. So I have to manage my time pretty often at work. It's kind of annoying. I have to put a lot of thought and effort into work, but that's neither here nor there.
That's another thing, because my days are pretty similar. I mean, there really hasn't been that many slow days since I started working at the new job. And it's I love it, because it's the polar opposite of what I was doing before.
Yeah.
Working the cigar shop's cool.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a neat job. I think it's perfect if you're retired and you just want to get out of the house. But it got to sit there for 10 hours and just watch stupid movies. And it's not a hard job by any means. It's a pretty awesome job.
Yeah.
But if you're the type of person that kind of needs more stimulation and needs more going on, it got to the point where I was like, I just got to do something else. The schedule was a big part of it, but
freaking losing it in this place.
Yeah. And, working here and there periodically, still I'll do it. And it's fine, because I'll take my computer and, bullshit or whatever. But yeah, it's, to have a job now where it's 9 to 5, you're going.
Yeah.
Except for lunch. And even then, I don't, we're supposed to take an hour for lunch, and I can't sit there for an hour and just play on my phone. I'm I get bored. I'm
Man, I gotta. You work 9 to 5 with an hour lunch?
Yeah, but all of us, we all take a lunch at the same time. It's one collective break.
I got you. Yeah.
So, but I almost never take a full hour. It's usually I eat, maybe I'll sit and play on my phone for 10 minutes, and then it's okay, I'm gonna go work on getting orders done, because I'd rather be doing that than sitting here. It's if there's stuff that needs to get hammered out, then I'm gonna go hammer it out. So
yep, I'm sure they're happy to have you there, man.
I freaking love it. It just keeps me busy. It's the polar, like I said, polar opposite of what I was doing before. So
faux show.
It's awesome.
But anyways, moving on. What kind of other questions do we have going along those lines?
Colubrid breeding timeline, which is interesting, because I think yours is different from mine, even though we live in the same place.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm a little bit more paranoid than you.
Very much so.
But yeah, I have. You didn't have to agree so quick. Jesus. Yeah, no, I'm an anxious fuck sometimes, or all the time. So
yeah, because you want to wait later. You want to wait for the more consistently cold weather, and I'm kind of we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna roll the dice.
I'm worried about that period of having a week of it not Loafman has talked about it before, to where it's it's cold, but it's not cold enough. So it's cold enough for them to kind of slow down a little bit, but not cold enough for them to like shut down. You know what I
think
mean?
you're talking like
And
prolonged though. I don't think a week of that. I mean, I know a week of that isn't going to mess anything up because I had
but that's what I mean.
brewmated
It
stuff
could
last
be,
year and didn't have any issues.
but
and
it could
stuff
be
went.
prolonged. That's what I'm saying. This is Beaufort, South Carolina, man. You don't know what our winter's going to look like. But what I do know for a fact, it's going to be freaking cold in January. It's going to be freaking cold in February. It's just the only thing I can pretty much guarantee. I've been wearing shorts on Christmas before.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I ain't trying to have
Believe
snakes
me.
in the garage.
Yeah.
During that kind of weather. So
you're planning to breed pop ones?
Yeah, I'll
Pits?
be breeding. Yep.
What else? Are you gonna do those? Are those white oaks gonna go?
I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Be big enough for you to at least get a smaller clutch out of them.
Yeah. I'm a little worried. So there'll be. I'm gonna cool down several things that aren't up to size, but I'm gonna cool them down anyways, just because. But the actual pairings, it's gonna be one, possibly two, at least one pop one pairing, if not two. I'm kind of holding out on one girl. She's, I don't know, like I talked about it the other week with Randy. Or I don't know. She's just been acting kind of funny. She's eating fine. She's even acting fine, but she's just been out of nowhere. She started giving me really bad sheds. Or she just sheds. First time it was terrible. Second time was also terrible, but I didn't peel her because I thought that she would take it off the second one, and then it just doubled up, and it was a nightmare. Yeah. But then she just shed again not too long ago, and it was the same result. A little bit better than the last time. She actually got the skin off her head, which was good. I didn't have to peel her head and neck and all that crap. But she's acting fine. She's eating fine. She just slammed a medium rat a couple days ago, so I don't know. I'm just kind of up in the air with her. I don't want to,
you got
stress
time
her out
to sort of play by ear.
So I went ahead and put in humid hide / egg boxes with both of them. The one girl, my last mom, she's doing phenomenal. She's definitely gonna go.
What size are those boxes?
At Lowe's, the black tubs with the yellow lids, and they got kind of indents on them.
The Aki Dig box.
Yeah, I think so. It has like little squares on top I got those. That's what I used for egg boxes, or for an egg box the last time I bred pop ones, and it was amazing. They fit in there perfectly. So I got 2 of those filling up with moss. I'm gonna see, because like the next storm we get, if we get another temperature drop and we get a good storm come through, I'm probably gonna go ahead and start pairing the one pair, just to because I'm antsy as a motherfucker, boy. I'm so antsy to breed, man.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
Ready.
I'm so ready. So I may go ahead and start pairing them, but I'm going to see if the humid hides the humid hide helps out with the one girl in her shedding issues. I also just turned.
You're just going to leave that in there full time now?
Yeah, and that's something I've been meaning to do for a while. I don't really like to change up a lot of things, so I'm gonna start leaving those in there full time, like from here on out.
I was pleasantly surprised at how many animals used theirs and stuff that I didn't really think would have much interest in it.
Oh man, yeah.
The corns, I got a handful of corns that love theirs.
Dude, my the
Bairds love them.
Oh yeah, the bears surprised me a little bit more. The corns not so much. Like the most recent babies I got from you, did they live?
Yeah,
in their
especially in when they're in a shed cycle. If I see them, if I can't find them in the tub, I check that humid hide, and almost always there's someone in blue or clearly in a shed cycle. And
my yellow rats
great for keeping. Like I haven't had a shed issue. I mean, not that you really get many issues down here anyways, but with everything, like if it's got a humid hide, it's been shed perfectly.
I just did. So I had humid hides in with my adult pits. They were just like a 6-quart tub. But they were taking up a lot of space. The
They
pits are
also
getting
just
big.
flex and pop the lid off.
Yeah, and they make a mess, which I've learned. I kind of almost like the moss / aspen like bedding. Like it kind of makes it a cool little whatever. But they were they were making a mess. They kept crapping in them, and whenever they crap in the humid hides, I have to take everything out and fully disinfect because it's humid, and the last thing you want is
I usually
shit
just end up tossing
together.
it and just putting in fresh moss.
Oh yeah, no, I throw away all the moss and disinfect the tub completely, so it's it became kind of annoying, but they were also taking up a lot of space, and the pits are getting big, and they're only in V70s. So I was like, well, so I took those out, replaced them with some soda boxes, and the pits are loving those. But I also recently, so I previously to the humid hides, I was getting some crappy sheds from some of them. So I was like, what am I doing wrong? But I think it was because I had the AC blowing wide open in my room. So recently,
which direction does it? Does it blow towards the door?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
is it that stuff in the smaller stuff in that rack? Like if you're looking at the door, the stuff to the right, that struggles the most.
Well, yeah. If you come into my room, all the stuff on the right, was struggling.
Stuff on like the Pituophis and that side.
Yeah, the Pituophis and some of the rat snakes. I was getting kind of crappy sheds from. So everything almost everything got humid hides, but some of the corns, like I just didn't. They're doing fine now. But recently I actually turned off the vent. I completely closed it, and I have my oil pan heater in there now to just keep the room warm. I'm actually running my colubrids on ambient temperatures now. And I'm letting the room cycle. I'm letting it, the heat of the day, I'm letting it get up to like 79, 80. And then, I let it drop to 75, 76 at night, 77 sometimes, depending on if I remember to adjust and all that. Plus I also need to make room. I upgraded the water snakes like big time recently. They're in a much more naturalistic setup, in a taller tub. They're out of the rack, which, oh God, so much easier to feed them. Nobody comes flying out of the tub anymore because they can't, because it's tall. They've got perches and stuff, and the water snakes are surprisingly I won't say arboreal, but man, they love to get up.
Yeah, they like to climb.
They like to climb like big time. So I really like seeing that more naturalistic behavior. But man, it's so much easier to feed them. But I also couldn't have heat everywhere in my room, so I was like, yeah, let's raise the ambience a little bit. The heat tape on the carpets don't have to work so hard. Take the colubrids off. Heat tape, because heat tape catches me out as it is. I freaking hate that stuff. So now I've just got water snake tubs all over the place. Upgraded the black rats, and so far so good. Everybody ate the other day, and yeah, everybody's going strong. So I'm gonna see if that helps my humidity problem. I've got one of my albino Floridas is currently in shed. So this would be our first round without a humid hide and the new temps in the room. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping that helps any dryness in the air. So I was talking to Montross about it, and he was like, yeah, man, he's like, I never have shedding problems. Like, if anything, y'all are almost more humid than we are up here. Like, what's the deal? I told him about the AAC, and he's like, that plays a lot bigger of a factor than you think it does. So we'll see.
Which is odd because that's not a small room.
No,
it's not like mine.
No,
like mine is like half the size of yours.
Yeah, but I think smaller would almost help with humidity. It would be, it would hold it better. And then plus, if when it gets hot down here, your AC is gonna freaking blow, and it's gonna blow.
Well, I also got one of those. So there's these like plastic.
Yeah, to where it kind of shoots it across the room.
Yeah, like diverters that's magnetic and clips to that. And before I closed the vent as well, I used to have that on there, and I'd have it pointing the opposite because it would be blowing like right on some of the racks that are right in front of the window there.
Right.
And I put that diverter on there to get it to blow towards the opposite side of the room. And
right, that's a pretty good idea. I didn't think about that.
I don't know. I felt bad because like some of that stuff in those racks were just getting blasted with AC constantly, which the rhino rats didn't care because the smaller rhino rats were in the rack at the time. But everything else, since I'm running ambient, and it was like, yeah, that corner's going to be a little chillier than the rest of the room. But
Yeah, I also had to get a curtain for my snake room because like I have a window in there, and I really liked all the natural sunlight I would get. But then I realized that natural sunlight was beaming right in on some of my tubs. And I didn't really think much of it at first, but I was like, you know what? Let me temp gun this and see where it's at. And I shot one of the rat snakes tubs, and it was like 86. And I was like, oh no, we ain't
Like
doing
on
that.
the cool end.
Yeah, like everywhere.
Yeah.
Like the whole cage was shooting like 86. And I was like, they're gonna freaking hate me. I was like, no wonder they're mad all the time. So I got a curtain. I didn't get a blackout curtain. I just got enough to shade it a little bit. So now
diffuse it a little bit.
it's annoying because I don't get the sunlight that I would like, to kind of just light up the room naturally during the day. But at the same time, my tubs aren't turning into a freaking incubator. So
I guess that's kind of the saving grace for the AC with mine is like those racks that are getting blasted by the AC are also right in front of that window that gets afternoon sun.
Yeah, this was with the AC
it kind of
on.
balances it out, I think.
Yeah, this was like with the AC on, so it was like it was not working. So I spent way too much money last weekend on getting water snake and rat snake upgrades and a curtain and plants and all this crap, but it's great. I love it. Looks awesome.
I really, really think, at least with my stuff, that when it starts to cool off here and the days are getting shorter, like turning everything off at night, which at this point it's just the lights in the Aki cage that actually are on in whatever is plugged up to the wall. I really think those shorter days and those, like, naturally that room is going to be cooler at night because the temperatures outside are dropping.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think that plays a big part in them sort of knowing that we're getting to that time. Like it's starting to, there's a shift, like a seasonal shift, even if it's small, in a room. I think they're still going to pick up on that. And photo period, I think, has a lot to do with a lot of things and sort of gets overlooked a lot.
Yeah.
Because I think if you have anything that's going to have like a circadian rhythm, be it nocturnal or diurnal or crepuscular, whatever, it's going to affect that. I mean, you think, like, look at us. I don't know about you. Like, I've been feeling tired lately, the last like week or so, and it's like now it's getting dark at like before 7.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's
not
just
that
one of those things where naturally I think my brain is like, all right, it's nighttime. Like
it's
the melatonin is starting to kick in.
Yeah.
It's
it feels so much different coming here, like, and it's dark by the time I get over here. Like, it wasn't that long ago. It was still quite bright out when we started the show, midsummer, but now it's like it's dark when I get over here. So we're about to get that time change though, so that won't be that'll.
Are they not? I thought they were getting rid of that.
This is the last time.
This is the last year they're doing it?
This is the last time they're doing it. So
it's dumb.
Yeah, it sucks. But we get to enjoy an extra hour for a little while.
Do we really though? I don't know.
I wake up so early for work that I enjoy the time change that comes because my internal time clock gets an extra hour, so it's nice. Yeah. But yeah, be what it be. But yeah, no, this is the last year they're doing it. And it's not everywhere. So like Indianapolis, I believe they don't.
Yeah, there's a couple places that have already gotten rid of it, or I think are keeping it. And so it's like, well, how's that going to work if everyone else is on a different?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Now the time
everyone
zones
would have to do it, or no one would have to do it.
Now the time zones are going to be super wonky.
That's odd.
Yeah, so I don't know. America's just weird. Let's face it.
Yeah, I guess do other places even do time change?
I have no idea.
Surely someone somewhere does, because it was originally like a thing for farmers. Just gave them extra time to be out working.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I don't know. But I guess it's 2022, and we made it. We finally done it.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as like colubrid breeding goes, my plan is to put, back on the original question, put things down about, I'm thinking late December, January. Main months are going to be January and part of February. I'm looking for about a 2-month cool. some people do less, but this is, what I'm planning on doing. I don't know how long you plan on cooling your stuff for. Smitty, do you go for a month, 2 months, month and a half?
I'm very traditional, and I shoot for Thanksgiving to Valentine's Day. But this year, I went from Thanksgiving to like the first week of February.
Okay. Nice.
Because I was like, I think everyone's gotten cold enough. I think everyone's been down long enough. And that was just like bringing stuff back up. Obviously, I wasn't pairing anything until
around March,
like mid to the end of March, maybe.
Yeah, because you want to give them that time to get a few meals and get warmed up, and because you can't drastically change any of them. You want to slowly drop some of your stuff and then do the big drop, and then it's the same way coming back up, slowly kind of warm them up, as they go, and starting with small meals and slowly.
So what I did to gradually cool stuff down instead of just straight up throwing it in the garage when it's cold, and so I'm sure they handle that fine, but to me there was like some aspect of like shock happening there. So what I did was I actually moved everybody into my closet, which isn't hooked up to the AC, so it's naturally cooler and only a couple of degrees warmer than whatever it is outside. And so I moved everybody in there that was getting cooled down. They stayed in there for about a week, and then I moved them into here. And I have a big black sheet. I stacked everybody, covered them up, and then once a week or every other week I'd go in and make sure I'd put small water bowls in with them, check those periodically. And it's surprising that it could even be low 50s, upper 40s, and they're still like moving around and stuff. You open the tub and they're like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
But keeping them dark, I think, like I said, that was kind of a big thing.
Because when they brumate, they're underground. They are in the dark, so that's pretty important in my opinion. So,
and then when I warmed them up, I think I did the same thing. I don't know that I put them straight back in the room. I don't remember if I did or didn't.
Well, what's the plan this year? Have you put much thought into it?
I haven't yet. Just because I have like another month to go before I start cooling stuff, but it is getting to that point where things are going to be off food for sure.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure if I'm going to brumate some of the younger stuff or not. I know there is some younger stuff that's in like that 2-year mark that I am probably going to cool. Some like the yearling stuff, I think I'm going to keep up. Because it's like, I could brumate them, but at the same time, I don't know that it benefits them that much to cool them off at a younger age like that.
Yeah, no.
And that's an opportunity I can take to, be sort of pumping them up and keeping them growing, in that span of time. But
the stuff that I want to go next year or maybe even the year after are going to get cooled. Like
that's what I have in mind with the 2-year-old stuff is like, okay, I'm not going to breed them this year, but I'm planning that this time next year, they are going to be ready to go for that next following season.
Right.
And so it's like, I am going to brumate them this year. And then next year they're going to get brumated again. And then finally I'll be able to pair some stuff.
Right. So it's one of those things like, do you have to do that? Absolutely not. Most people don't, but will it hurt? Also not. So
I just think they get to a certain age where it's, they should like that.
It's natural.
They should be doing that. Like, babies and hatchlings and stuff, juveniles, like those are going to brumate naturally too. But I don't see much point in doing that in captivity unless somebody wants to. And there's some species where, they're not going to eat until that following spring. You almost have to. So if that's the case, then it is what it is. But like where corns and bears and stuff like that, it's like, I'm not going to bother if I don't think they need it.
I need it.
What are you doing as far as the pits go? Do you brumate those like you do everything else?
Yeah, it's the plan.
Gotcha.
As far as I know.
I need to, maybe this weekend, I'll sit down. I need to map out exactly what I'm planning to pair next year. I don't know that it'll be as much as I paired this year. I haven't really decided yet. It's tough because I didn't produce a ton of stuff this year, at least in the grand, like the scheme of like other people in our circle that produce way more stuff. I'm just hesitant to produce a ton of stuff because kind of going back to the burnout thing is like making sure you're not overloading yourself.
Yeah, don't kill yourself.
But there is some stuff that, didn't go this year that I really want to try. And then some repeat pairings that I want to do again. And it's tough because it's like, if I could, I'd breed everything, I got that Anri Motley male, and I really want to put him to that ghost test for a female. And the blood reds, and I want to do the Ladies Island pair that I did this year because that produced some surprisingly nice stuff that I was not expecting. And then Bairds again. I think I'm gonna have more pairs of Bairds. I'm gonna have another pair of Bairds ready to go, another female ready to go next year.
All the Bairds.
So, I don't know. That's tough because Loma Altas again, maybe not. I got 8 babies out of that clutch, but I don't know. It's got to kind of have the patience to be able to put stuff on hold for a year and be like, I'm not going to breed it this year, but next year,
right,
I'm going to come back and do it.
Yeah, and it definitely doesn't hurt to give your female a year off. I think with colubrids, it's not as bad, especially since most of them you can double clutch and all that. But yeah, I don't know. My copy. Yeah, a lot of things. A lot of things in the works. The big majority of my collection is still, kind of growing up. I bought at least my colubrid stuff. I bought a lot of babies to raise up because that's how I prefer to do things. I like getting babies and raising them as such. But I've got some Pituophis, my fork line gophers that I did raise from babies. Got those several years ago now. They're massive. I'm a little worried about age. The 2 Pituophis pairings I'm planning are my fork lines and then the albino Floridas, both of which I'm extremely excited about. But they're both, though they will be turning 4 next year. So when they come out of brumation, they'll be just under 4 years old. Size won't be a factor. Everybody's pretty diesel. But I am curious how age is going to play a part in that. But yeah, we'll see. Pretty excited about those. Then, like Justin brought up, these Santa Rosa Grays, I'm going to pair up. Then
I called them White Oaks. My apologies.
They're White Oaks.
Oh.
They're Santa Rosa White Oak Gray Rats. I have two pairs of White Oaks. I have Apalachicola White Oaks and Santa Rosa White Oaks. So
I'm going to cool down the rhinos, the adults.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure if my female is ready. I'm afraid that if I try it,
you don't have
she's
to
gonna
rush,
be too
man.
small.
You don't have to rush.
But I think after talking to Rob, I think they might be okay. So
do you, man?
And then chondros, man.
Yeah, still on the fence about those.
Yeah, and I still haven't talked to Luke and David because I have those 2018 animals that are small. You saw them not that long ago and were surprised at their size for their age. But I also, sometimes I'm like, man, they're way too small. But then I take them out to clean the cage or something, and they're 3 feet long. And I'm like, well, maybe not.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to pick their brains. And if they think that it's something feasible, maybe I'll even give Harlan a call. I haven't talked to Harlan in a long time. And ask him.
Tell him he needs to hit me up if you do.
Mm-hmm.
That guy. Yeah, I haven't talked to Harlan in a long time. I was actually thinking about him the other day. Is he even still like in the game? Is he?
Oh yeah. As far as I know.
Nice.
But might do the Conjure thing. I mean, if I talk to some people and they've had a similar experience where they had a smaller female that was old enough technically by age, then I might give it a shot.
Yeah.
Even if it's a small clutch, I miss producing chondros, man.
Yeah. I bet. I miss producing anything severely. I'm very much looking forward to little heads poking out of some eggs. I'm on with the colubrids, I'm on the fence on if I'm going to get anything, like I was just saying while you were taking a leak. I'm a little worried about some of the ages on everything. Pretty much all my colubrid pairings are 2019 animals. So they're 3 years going on 4 once they come out of cooling. So
I think you'd be okay.
They'll be right at the cusp. It's just a maturity thing. I don't think that I'm gonna have like if they do go, I'm not worried about like egg biting and stuff like that because they're very healthy animals. I just worry about them going at all. Carpets, I can almost guarantee I'll have at least one carpet clutch. So I say that I'm a knock on wood over here, but yeah, one male breed a piece of rope. They've bred together before. So I am very, very excited about that. I freaking love baby snakes, man. Love the process.
Do you have a game plan for holdbacks with this? Like now that you're going to be pairing stuff again, do you have any thoughts on sort of like not even necessarily like not a hard idea of what you're going to do, but at least have you like thought about if I get a clutch, are you going to hold back 2 out of a clutch of 8? Are you going to hold on to half of them?
Yeah. So with the carpets, I would, if I get a lights out female, probably keep that. But honestly, with my food bill, I'm going to be selling most of everything I produce, especially the carpets, because I've kind of cut back on those as it is. But yeah, I'm going to be selling most of everything. Heck, I might even give some away to people if something spectacular comes out. I'm probably going to give it to somebody who's really into pop ones, because that's the type of stuff I want to keep around, like I said, in the family. But I'll definitely be selling the majority of the pop wins. Like I said, if I get a lights out female, I would keep one of those. As far as those go, but if I get 2 clutches, yeah, the large majority will be getting sold. With the albino pines, it's going to be really hard. It's going to depend on how many I get, because I have several people who want some, obviously, and then I'm going to be sending paint job at least 2.
See, that's tough because their clutches are small.
Yeah, so if I get a clutch of 3, I may end up just giving them away. I probably won't keep any unless I get one that's super white, because I love the white look to the albinos. So if I get something super white, I may keep it as long as I can have numbers. But if I only got 2 eggs and they happen to be a pair, they would both be going to Chris, no questions asked. I'm hoping at least 4 or 5, but we'll see. They're going to be pretty, with the pines, they're big eggs, small clutches. So we'll see. Then the forks, no, none of them. I'm not keeping any of those things. But I'm very excited about the potential with those, because they're both the low expression forks. It's a very weird trait that's inherited. There's like 3 different phases. Your low, medium, and high expression forks. Highs are almost patternless. So these should produce some medium expressions, which are really cool animals. So I'm definitely selling all those babies though, because talk about they are a handful to say the least. The male's actually calmed down, surprisingly. He's not a good snake by any means, but he's not bad. I have a picture of him in my hand outside, and definitely doesn't like me by any means. But the female is the spawn of Satan.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, definitely not keeping any of those. They're fun snakes. I may, even after I breed them, I actually may end up moving those because I've noticed my love is really for the southeastern stuff and not necessarily the Texas stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I don't know. I say that, but I still have, other Texas
mean,
bulls.
Obviously,
so.
Jan and I are going to be the exception there.
Well, yeah. I mean, Jan and I aren't. Yeah, Jan and I's they're in their own category. Boy, I love my Jan and I so much. No, I say that, but if I have success breeding them, I'll probably keep my forks because I say that, and I still have the Clayburgh, Clayburgh County bulls, and Pituophis will be the exception. It's mostly the rat snakes, and I'm like, well, it's the southeastern stuff that really gets me going.
The holdback thing is tough because
Yeah,
I always sort of say that I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and then I end up hatching some stuff, and I'm like, I gotta hold on to that for a little while and see how it looks.
Yeah,
like I can't just.
I will, if I get white oak eggs, I will probably hold on to those babies for a while. I definitely am not planning on keeping a bunch. But there's a certain look with the Santa Rosas that I want. So I'll probably grow some up and then
that's the problem with
them.
stuff that goes through a serious color change,
Yeah.
like the Bairds especially. I mean, I can kind of tell with the Loma Altas, like there's a couple that I am definitely holding on to that are that really light silvery color, kind of like those Juno Roads from McWilliams. That I'm like, okay, that's definitely staying.
Right.
And then, I hatched out some corns that kind of had some interesting stuff, at least with the Ladies Island pair that hatched out some interesting things that I decided to hold on to. There was one that had like the saddles were like fused on the neck. And then I had some other ones that had a sort of a similar thing going on. And so I was like, okay, maybe there's something here worth pursuing. So I'm going to kind of play with that some. And it won't be this next season, but the following season, I should have a male from the original Ladies Island pairing that'll be ready to go. Nice. And I'll be able to put him to mom, I think.
Very nice.
Assuming nothing bad happens to mom between now and then, which it shouldn't. That'll be interesting. And then, see, that's before you leave, I need you to help me sex the shell point corn.
Okay.
Because I need to verify if that is actually a female, because I put the Castagna Motley male in with that one and the darker Ladies Island male in with that one, and nothing happened.
She might just not be about it, man. May just need another.
They tried. Never happened. And I left that darker Ladies Island male in there for weeks.
If they tried, I would almost kind of.
I just want to verify.
Yeah, we definitely verify.
Need to double check.
I'd almost guess if the males tried, I would think that she is, a female.
Because I was pretty bummed that one didn't go, because that was one that's a 2018 that is like one of the nicest corns I've ever seen, at least naturally. So need to double check that.
Yeah.
Because that's another one where it's like I don't want to do as much as I did this year, but it's like there's stuff that didn't happen last year that I want to do in addition to some stuff that I did this year.
Yeah,
it's really hard.
Yeah, as far as holdbacks for me go, though, it's like I have all the stuff that I want, and I already have way too many snakes, so I'm pretty set on pretty much not keeping much of anything. I did make some space for certain things that I would want to keep. But yeah, as far as holdbacks go, man, I'm pretty content with where I'm at, and I don't really want to grow a whole lot more. Once I get these last few things from Keller, which I'm uber excited about. It's gonna pretty much finish me off. I'm going to be very, very happy with the collection where it's at. There's still some things I may end up moving actually, but definitely not much to add. So yeah, I don't think holdbacks will be much of a problem for me. I say that now until all those heads are broken out. And I'm like, I'm keeping all of you.
It's the Ladies Island stuff in particular.
That would be
something I am trying to like.
And because corns are
indefinite future,
with carpets, I'm not gonna say I can tell what they're gonna look like, as an adult, But with
you have a
carpet
better eye for it
babies,
than you would with other
right,
stuff.
right. With babies, you can tell that one sticks out. Like the ones that I was like, oh, this one's gonna be bad. It'll be a badass snake, and they have 100%. All the ones the 3 that I kept, I ended up sending one of the 3 to Skylar. Again, because that was one I wanted to stay in the family. But man, they all just freaking smoke shows, man. Just amazing animals. A lot of variety in that clutch. So out of what I got from my last clutch, I'm really curious what's going to come of this one. And there's part of me that wants to go a different route and not breed that male back to her. I want to try my other male, but as far as phenotypically speaking, they're not similar, like as far as color goes and stuff. So I'm a little worried I'd get some pretty muted carpets, but at the same time, I'm like, I could just throw something absolutely crazy too. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna end up doing the repeat just to basically guarantee me some babies, because the other male is not proven he's by far old enough.
Yeah.
But I really need to make sure I get something this year because I need to pay for some food. So that's a big part in it this year. So I don't know. I'm just dumb excited to plug in my incubator again.
Dude, it's just gone by so quick, man.
Yeah, for you.
Like it's all a blur when you look back from the time you brought stuff out to pairing to eggs. Like it's that period between getting locks and getting eggs that seems to take forever. But then it's like after everything's done and you're on the other side of it and it's time to cool stuff down again. It's like where
feeding and shipping
like,
and cleaning, just constantly, Yeah.
I've been shipping full.
That you have.
I had something go out to Seattle.
Nice.
Minnesota. And Greenville. And all 3 made it. I packed with heat. And yesterday it was like 80. So I was a little nervous. At least here, like everywhere else, Memphis and beyond, it was warranted to pack some heat.
Yeah, but that's like,
but man,
I get so worried about overheating, here, man. Like, yeah, that's why, like, when we shipped to Skylar, I talked with you, I talked to him. I'm like, look, I don't really feel comfortable putting in heat because of Skylar's temps and our temps. But if you're cool with it, then I won't. But if you want heat, I'll put it in there, and I want to make sure everybody was on board, everybody was comfortable, because I didn't want to make that call, so I don't know. But the snakes got there safe and sound. I was very happy with the snakes.
It's always just nerve-wracking. I mean, I've been fortunate to not have a DOA.
Yeah.
At all.
Very,
or really, I mean, I haven't had many issues with FedEx in general. I think I've had 1 or 2 boxes that maybe got delayed. I think I had one that got delayed by like a day, but it was, I think, in between. It was like spring, so it wasn't super hot. It wasn't super cold.
Yeah.
And I think it was a Brettles, so I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I think I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
And I've had no issues. I think I had a crested at one point drop its tail on the way, and I was like, I think the person was like, "We'll drop its tail," and I'm like, "There's nothing I can do about that. Like, we're going to tape it back." So
yeah, no, we've been pretty fortunate. Then again, I don't ship enough to warrant problems. I've shipped quite a bit at this point. Like I think this year after Daytona, I sent out 2 packages, no problems. Just shipped Skylar the other day, no problems. I even receiving though, I've received a ton of snakes and never a hiccup.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a DOA.
No, I've never had a DOA. Never sent one out. Never received one.
It seems to me like it's a pretty. Now that I think about it, it's kind of a rare thing now. I think with the the advances, and
it also depends on
heat packs and cryo packs.
Right. It really depends on what you're shipping too. Like me. Shipping and receiving carpets and rat snakes, they're pretty freaking solid. They're hard to kill, but if you're shipping something really finicky and
fragile,
I would assume it's a little bit more, it's a little bit more common, or like a fresh imported, baby monitor or something like that, like that's, I think you would come into that more often than, a freaking captive bred year-old rat snake or carpet, like it's just.
But shout out to Reptiles Express.
Yeah.
That's the only people I use
great.
for shipping.
Yeah, they're all I use, man.
Call customer service all the time because I do pickups with boxes. I don't drop off. And that's another thing. I've been doing pickups for the last like 3 years.
I won't do it. That's where I draw the line.
Never had a problem.
I draw the line.
Knock on wood as well. But I'm telling you, man,
just more hands.
It's really
more hands to pass through.
It's another set of hands that just gets it and puts it on the truck.
Yeah.
I have not had any
I just like taking it to the hub, so I know it's there.
See, the problem is our hub is like a 45-minute drive.
I'm more.
And I hate driving that far just to walk into FedEx for 2 minutes and then turn around and drive all the way back.
Yeah, it sucks, but for my mental health, it is better.
It made me nervous at first too.
Yeah, no.
Just like shipping did in general.
Shipping in general, still, man, I hate it.
It doesn't bother me anymore.
I freaking hate it, man.
I remember, like, when I first did it, I was like, "Oh my god," I was freaking out. But then I also told myself, if it were that difficult and that problematic, no one would be doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Reptiles Express has been number one from day one.
They're fantastic. They're the only people I've ever used.
I used SYR at one point, and I mean they were fine too in terms of the the shipping and things. Like, they were fine, but price wise, like the amount that I saved using Reptiles Express was unbelievable. Like noticeably different, where it was like, why was I not? And I don't know, maybe it's a regional thing. Like, maybe it's a similar thing for people that are on the West Coast or like in the Colorado area, which I think is where SYR is based out of, where if you're in that sort of region of the country, maybe it's a little cheaper for them in comparison to.
I mean, I wouldn't think so, because they basically just supply a label, like you're paying for the label, like it's not, the box isn't coming to them at any point, so it
was drastically different price for both.
Yeah, very, very,
and the RE customer service has always been really solid.
Bar none. Plus, Mike Arnold, it's a cool freaking cat.
Big Mike is a cool cat.
Mike's a cool cat too.
If we ever expand sponsorship, Reptiles Express is going to be the next.
Yeah, man, I would love it. I'd be all about it.
I am very loyal to that company because they've been great. Yeah, they've been awesome.
Yeah, I've received snakes through SYR before. Never shipped with them, but just doesn't hold a candle. Sorry, Reptiles Express, not my peeps.
It is bizarre because, I mean, realistically, there's like 4 or 5 shipping companies.
There's a new one right now, isn't there? Didn't somebody just come out and start?
Superior Shipping is now apparently offering, which is where I always got my supplies, like my boxes and stuff.
Yeah, Superior Shipping supplies.
And when I went on their website, because I was looking at boxes, because I need to buy some more soon, they have like the same thing where you go on and it's like, get a quote for shipping. And I think I put in some numbers just out of curiosity, and for some reason it wouldn't generate the quote. So I was like, okay, never mind.
Oh, that's red flag number 1.
Like, I don't plan on leaving Reptiles Express, but it is sort of always amusing to put in a quote. Like, I'm gonna book a shipment to see what the price is in comparison, because I've literally gone on to all the other shippers and like put in Chris's zip code just to see. Like, not even logging into my Reptiles Express account, but as just a regular sender, comparing all the prices, like Reptiles Express beat every single one of them.
Yep. They're great. Yeah, no, when we shipped to Skylar, I was actually kind of surprised. Like it was cheaper. It wasn't by a lot, but it was literally $5 cheaper than the quote I got because I did the quote just to give Skylar a number. And it's funny, I put a pound less on the quote that I put in. You know, I put in his zip, my zip, and then I put 1 pound on there because I wasn't thinking about the weight. And I got it, you know, which was already cheap, but then I actually did it. It was a pound more and an extra snake because I didn't put the quantity for 2 when I shipped, and it was $5 less than my original quote. I was like, all right, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of wild, but yeah, love Reptiles Express. Mike's one of my favorite people to see at the reptile shows. He's crazy, but
I'm talking like owner Mike.
I don't know owner Mike as well.
You didn't see him at Daytona?
I probably saw him.
I was standing in line to get it was like the Friday. I was in line to get our wristbands, and Mike comes walking up in a THN shirt.
Nah.
I was cracking up.
Nice.
It's like the black one with the logo and stuff.
Yeah.
He bought it at
Daytona before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just funny, like Mike,
awesome.
who owns Reptiles Express, rolling up wearing one of our shirts.
Wearing one of our shirts. Hey, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Yeah, it was funny. I saw a bunch of, I won't say a bunch, but I saw quite a few random people wearing some of our gear, and I was like, oh, hey, thanks, buddy. I still see people wear the original THP shirts from all Teespring. It's awesome. It's great.
Teespring. Good God.
Yeah, screw them. But yeah, it's great.
It's kind of surprising that they can, like, that they're still sort of in business.
Yeah, because I think it's just the ease, man. Like nobody likes to invest in bulk and
that much inconsistency.
Yeah, it is pretty
in
bad.
A single
it's pretty
design
bad.
That's supposed to be the same across the board,
and the quality is garbage. It is
which
so
I also don't
bad.
understand, because now that I'm in that business and I'm seeing how it's done, I'm like, how is it that I can wash a shirt once and the graphic just disintegrates?
It's terrible. Absolutely freaking terrible.
What are you using?
Yeah,
because I can't put my finger on it. I don't think it's digital.
They're drawing on it.
It's definitely not screen print. And so it's like, is it heat transfer? Which is very possible. But I don't know. The whole thing was just bizarre. And
how bizarre.
I can only imagine that we are not the only people that were having issues on that front.
No way.
Like, it worked at the time. It was a good solution at the time. But now,
terrible.
Now we have the VP of operations inside.
I need to get some more shirts made.
Yours are easy.
Yeah, so heads up, I'm probably going to make a post soon, and I'm going to do pre-orders because I don't want to order a bunch and then have a bunch of leftovers. So I'm going to run an ad for like a month or something like that, and you just message me your size, blase. And then once I have everybody together, then I'll place the order, ship them out.
Yeah, at some point I want to get a Shopify account up on the website and make shirts for, all the shows and some of the other designs, like this Random Tomato one I made that I like a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
And have those, like, be able to print those and keep inventory on hand, and then be able to have people, like, they can order that stuff off the website. So that's going to happen at some point. I don't know when. Because I also need to see, I think you have to pay for Shopify. Like, you have to have a Shopify account, and they take certain percentages, and I need to see what that is. So
it's lame.
But I think it'd be cool to have, like Snakes and Stogie shirts. I need to make some of those.
Yeah.
Corn Star shirts. I've kind of changed the logo on that a little bit to something I like more. ConjureCast shirts, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of stuff in the works.
Mm-hmm.
Be good. Nowhere to go but up, buddy.
That's right.
I guess we could go down at this point, but it's not.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah,
I'd honestly, in the grand scheme of things, the middle of the pack is fine with me.
Yeah, I'm happy being there too.
Because when you're at the top, the only way to go is down.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the last guy in line because that's the one that gets picked off by the Velociraptors and all the Jurassic Park movies. So,
yeah, and I'm faster than you. So.
Very much so.
Yeah.
This episode was brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com.
Buy a cage, buy a rack, and you won't be disappointed.
Don't be whack.
Buy a rack.
BlackBoxCages.com. And SteveSnaketuary.com. Get yourself some Venom hot sauce.
He's got the sauce.
Some like it hot. If you like it hot, get you some. Doesn't matter if it's on wings, if it's on tacos, if it's on pizza, and maybe there's some of you weirdos out there that even like it on cereal.
Throw it on some chips.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever.
Whatever you want. Straight. Drink it straight. Take a shot.
He does that.
Take a shot.
I think that's part of like being a Louisianan.
Just take a shot of hot sauce.
Just drink hot sauce.
Yeah. Puts hair on your nuts.
Fuzz on your peaches.
Yep. It's delicious. That's how good it is.
It's like, yeah, they might do shots of liquor or something, and it's like in Louisiana they just drink hot sauce.
Isn't there a shot with hot sauce in it? Like it's a liquor. It's a liquor shot, but it's got friggin' hot sauce in it.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it.
I don't
Tabasco in it.
Yeah, I think it's Tabasco.
Yeah.
I don't know. That sounds horrendous.
Sounds horrible. I don't even like Tabasco in anything, on anything.
Like I said, I'm not a hot sauce guy, but Steve Snaketuary hot sauce. Yes, sir. Good stuff.
I think next week on Thursday we are going to be doing Corn Stars. I think it's going to be the draft episode.
The draft episode.
Yeah, so we're going to do live stream, but we're going to be like planning our corn pairings for this season. Like I made it. I'm gonna show you. I made a graphic for it and everything.
Graphic.
Like an MLB graphic, but it's corns. I actually spent way more time on this than I probably should have. But I'm like super pumped for this episode.
It would be even cooler if like you and Chris both put up like snakes that you were willing to like move to each other, and you drafted each other's snakes or possibly your own or whatever.
Like I got to take pictures of all the breeders that I'm planning on using so that we can like live. I'm gonna put the pictures sort of together and. It's going to be fun. It's going to be cool. And I think Alex from Keystone Corns is going to join us.
Nice.
Who his episode was one of my favorites. He's a good dude. I really like talking to him. Come on, load.
Slow ass computer.
StreamYard asks a lot of things. And Canva asks a lot of things.
Two things asking a lot makes it slow.
Yep. Look at that.
Nice. Little Motley action going on. It's
pretty dope, right?
Yeah, it's pretty dope. Looks like a goal. Now you just need to like in some of that, you need to fill some of that open space though, and put like the Corn Stars thing in the bottom left.
Yeah, I may. I'm still playing with it.
I'll put like Corn Stars draft.
I use this for work a lot too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Canva's amazing. If you're not using Canva, you need to be using Canva. Yes, it won't replace Adobe, but if you don't have Adobe, this is going to be about as close as you're going to get. And the paid version is worth every penny. See, now it's just struggling. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
I don't know. I don't like the background. I like
it.
It's not finalized yet. And this has changed. I got to swap out for the other one.
Yeah, you got to move the snake down a little bit. Fill up some of the empty space. It'll look pretty dope.
That negative space.
Negative space.
All right. Well, we got to go sex a snake.
Yeah.
We'll be back for Snakes and Stogies on Monday. Join us live. You might win a shirt if you're in the chat. Like, it's just for people that are in the chat. If you're in there and you're watching, you can win a shirt, a THP shirt. Because that's all I have right now until I print some Snakes and Stogies ones.
I still need my ice gray THP shirt.
Yeah.
You doucher.
I need to order more ice gray shirts.
I'll pay you for it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Whatever.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you for listening to us rant for almost 2 hours. Wow, that was pretty good.
We will see y'all later.